Hi everyone, I'm back. I know that I didn't post any videos for kind of a long time, but today I'm going to be making something a little bit more wintry, kind of, what do you call it? I guess it'd be Indian. I'm not really used to doing any sort of Asian, or I guess is it Asian? I don't even know. Indian. I'm not really that experienced in making Indian food, but I'm gonna try today as per popular vote by my family. So what I'm gonna be making today is winter vegetable coconut curry with garlic butter naan bread. And I really like naan bread. I eat it all the time, anytime I have an opportunity to, so it'll be exciting to make it on my own this time. So yeah, well, let's get started. So one of the first steps is to mix together the yeast, the sugar, and the warm water in a bowl until the yeast is dissolved. And then let it sit for 10 minutes until the yeast starts to form in the bowl. So we'll go ahead and start that. Alright, now that 10 minutes is up, I'm going to be adding 1 cup of plain Greek yogurt. So I just have this Liberty Greek yogurt. It's just plain and 0%. And also I'm adding 3/4 of a cup of just regular old warm milk. So yeah, I'll do that. And just start whisking. So whisk until smooth, and that's pretty much what mine looks like. So it's like kind of creamy looking. Now in a separate bowl, I need to mix the flour, baking soda, baking powder, and salt. All right, now I need to mix the dry ingredients in this bowl. So I have 4 cups of all-purpose, just regular bread flour. I'm just using this Robin Hood flour that everyone has and can get. After that, I'm doing 1.5 teaspoons of just baking powder. So I just use this baking powder. Put that in there. 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Everyone knows what baking soda looks like. And of course, that's just this baking soda. I never know how to keep this stuff. Like, I have it in 2 bags because this doesn't close, but I looked for a package that could close and I couldn't find anything. So if you guys know of something, please tell me, because I don't know how to keep that stuff. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now I'm just gonna mix this all together. Now I add the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients and stir it until it just becomes a nice smooth mixture. Now I'm gonna knead all this dough into a ball. It's pretty flaky right now, so we'll see, like, this is what it looks like right now. Ew, that's gross. We'll see what this looks like after I'm done kneading it. Well, it's slowly coming together. I think naan bread's kind of flaky, isn't it? So it should be. I'll keep going and see what it does. But how's you guys' day? Mine's eventful, clearly. Let me know in the comments below, and let me know how you're liking my videos so far. I get feedback from my family, but that's kind of, is that cheating? I don't know. And they say it's good, so hopefully the rest of you like it. But I'm pretty sure at this point in time, only my family watches. So that's fun. I really should get in the habit of making these recipes before I do a video on them. Because so far, the only one thing that I've made before a video was my last Buddha bowl video. I've made those before, but I've never made this before. So we'll be doing a lot of learning together. All right, now that it's done, this is kind of what it looks like. It's pretty, like, there's obviously some loose bits in there. Now it says to put it in Now it says to put it in a warm area and cover it with a damp cloth for about 1 hour or until it doubles in size, which is, we'll make a lot of naan bread because that's a lot. So that's good. I love naan bread. While that's rising, in about 45 minutes I have to get the garlic butter ready with rosemary and everything. Until then, I'm just gonna start getting the vegetables ready. So in this recipe it says that I'm going to be roasting all of the vegetables separately because they have a bunch of different roast times. So we'll go ahead and start getting all the veggies ready. I'll start with carrots, and it doesn't say to peel the carrots or anything. It just says to brush them, so I just brushed them. And it says 2 bunches of carrots, and I didn't know how much that was, so I googled it. And it's saying about 3 to 4 carrots per bunch. So I just did like 6 or 7 carrots. And to cut them in half or quarters depending on how thick they are. So the ones that I got are kind of thin, so I'm just gonna halve them. All right, now that these are all cut, I cut them in half lengthwise and then crosswise. Now it says to toss them in a bit of oil and spread them out on a sheet pan and then sprinkle with a pinch of salt, so I'll do that. So I'm just using this avocado oil. The recipe calls for vegetable oil, but I don't have any on hand, so this works. So I'm gonna preheat the oven to 425 Fahrenheit, roast, not bake. And I'm pretty sure I explained this in one of my last videos that I just recently learned that when you're baking something, that means you want to give it a form, kind of thing. Like if you start baking a cake, you obviously start with a dough and it forms into the cake. And if you're roasting, you're softening things. So we want these to be nice and tender carrots, so roast instead of bake. So I didn't know that until a while ago, so I don't know how many other people didn't know that, but now you know if you didn't. So now that that's done, the recipe also called for some broccolini, and normally they're in season now, but I literally couldn't find any anywhere. I went to Sobeys, I went to Walmart, and they didn't have any there. And I could have substituted it for broccoli, but I just didn't. So we'll just omit that from the recipe altogether. So now I will go ahead and get my bok choy ready. Baby bok choy. Am I even pronouncing that right? But they're cute. So I hope they taste as good as they look. And this is just what the fennel looks like. So obviously a little beat up on the outside, but I can fix that. So it's saying to cut the bok choy into quarters, so start with that one. The internet says that the whole plant is edible, so I'm just going to quarter this and see what happens. So that's what it looks like cut. They're super cute. They're super cute, so I guess you can eat, the whole thing is edible. The whole plant is edible raw. Or cooked, doesn't matter. So I'm excited to try this. Alright, so the fennel, you don't eat this part of the fennel, so I'm just gonna chop that part off. And then I'm just going to have it and core it. Or quarter it and then core it. So now that I've quartered the fennel, yeah. I'm going to cut all of these quarters in half to make like little wedges. So that's what the bok choy and the fennel looks like. It actually looks like delicious already. So I need a bigger bowl to toss them in. So I'll go ahead and get that. All right, so I'm gonna toss these in oil. So same avocado oil I used for the carrots. Okay, this honestly looks so good. Okay, so I'm gonna put the carrots in to roast for 20 minutes, and I'll put this in separately. That's just what the recipe asks for, so, and I have the time, so I might as well, but these only need to go in for 10 minutes, so I'm sure you could put them in together and then take this out at 10 minutes, so you can do that. Okay, so now that that's in the oven and the dough is still rising for another 23 minutes, at 15 minutes, I have to start making the garlic butter. So right now I'll put in the rice because the rice needs to sit for, or needs to cook for 40 minutes, so we'll start that. Okay, so the recipe says to combine rice, water or stock. I just opted for water this time, and coconut oil in a heavy bottom pot. So I have this pot that I make chili in. I'm sure it's like totally overkill, but it's like the only like heavy bottom pot that I have. So 2 cups of jasmine rice. 3.5 cups of water or stock. 1.5. And 1 tablespoon of coconut oil. So now I'm just gonna bring that to a boil. Okay, so now the dough has continued or finished rising, and the carrots are done. The bok choy and the fennel's now in the oven, and I'm gonna start doing the garlic butter, so I'll show you guys that. I'm gonna start by putting 2 sticks of butter in the saucepan. So I'll start with this half one here. So I know I've talked about this in my other videos, but I use this like pre-minced garlic. So it calls for 6 cloves of smashed garlic, but I just figured this would be easier. So 1/2 teaspoon is 1 clove. So I'm just gonna do 6 half teaspoons. And it calls for 1 sprig of rosemary. It just says to melt and keep warm so that the flavors infuse to each other. Get the dough. It was supposed to have doubled in size, but I'm not sure if it has. It might have. Now I cut this into 8 equal pieces and form them into balls. So now I need to roll these out into an oval shape, obviously like naan bread, and it needs to be about 1/4 inch thick, and whatever I'm not using I'm going to keep covered, so I'll start that. Alright, now that these are all ready to go, I'm going to take the butter, brush it on each piece, and put it in the pan for 1 minute. Cover it, flip it, cover it for another minute. So now I need to heat a large pot over medium heat and add enough oil to coat the bottom. And now I need to add 1 diced red onion into the heated pan, saute them and let them caramelize for a few minutes. Okay, now that these are tender and caramelized, I'm gonna add the chili pepper. So this is just a jalapeno pepper. The actual chili pepper that it called for in the recipe, I can't get in Canada, so a jalapeno is the next best thing. Okay, so in about a minute, I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of minced ginger that I can buy pre-made, and also 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. And then as soon as I add that, I'll cook it for about 30 seconds, add another splash of my avocado oil, and then add the 2 tablespoons of curry paste that I have here. Two cans of this coconut milk and 1 cup of water. Alright, now that I've turned this down to a simmer and let it simmer for 15 minutes, I'm going to add the fish sauce that the recipe calls for, and also the fresh lime juice. So I'll do that. This is the 2 limes that I've juiced. And I need to add 2 tablespoons of this fish sauce that I bought.